Our first session today will How to Be Unstoppable, which is very fitting given to this conference's theme. As many of you know, Heritage is America's lead conservative outpost here in Washington, D.C. We like to say we're going on offense, and this starts right here today with the pro-life work we're doing. It is now my esteemed pleasure to introduce our panelists. Ms. Kristen Hawkins, who I'm pretty sure everyone here knows, is the president of Students for Life of America. Next up is Toni McFadden. She is a pro-life advocate and an international speaker on abortion. And certainly, last but not least, is Mary Berganti. Mary is the Director of Leadership Initiatives at the Student for Life of America. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome.
A few years ago, Students for Life had the honor of hosting a swanky fundraising gala in New York City. The event went well, the room was packed, supporters were excited to generously give to continue our mission on campuses. But after the event concluded, one of my trusted mentors took me aside to offer a few words of advice. That because Roe had been the law of the land for decades, 45 years, that the pro-abortion administration in Washington was doing everything. We were in the midst of the largest expansion of abortion through Obamacare. His advice to me was I probably needed to stop saying things like, "We will abolish abortion." Because as great of our mission it was and the good work you all are doing on campuses, it just didn't seem plausible, and no investors would seriously support our mission, Students for Life, if the leader of Students for Life was viewed as being naive of political reality, of what was really possible to achieve. I'm so glad I didn't listen to my friend's advice, that this stubborn, gritty person up here refused to change courses, refused to mute our vision we had for this pro-life generation. I don't share this story with you to brag about all the amazing things you all do on campuses, or the fact, remind you of the fact that Roe versus Wade has been reversed and we're on our way to abolishing abortion. I shared this short story with you to illustrate an important point. Earlier this morning, I challenged everyone in this packed room to be unstoppable. But now I want to share with you the key to being unstoppable, the key that I have found to being unstoppable. And that's to always move forward. Because it is certain that you will face setbacks on your campuses and in your mission. It's certain that you will face defeats, like our pro-life movement did during our 49-year quest to see Roe versus Wade reversed. Since launching Students for Life more than 16 years ago, I have certainly faced my fair share of setbacks and defeats, personally and professionally, to the diagnosis of my son and daughter with a time-limiting disease, cystic fibrosis, making every moment I have with them even more special, every day away with them even more difficult, to losing grants and funding that we needed to accomplish our mission, to start more Students for Life groups, to equip more amazing leaders, to the tragic loss of two of our team members, Courtney Blythe Gordon and John Scharfenberger, more than 10 years ago because of the actions of one selfish driver, to small setbacks like having great ideas that I thought I had fall flat due to my own human weakness, or to, hurtful personal attacks written about my daughter or my boys or myself from pro-abortion trolls online. But I've learned through all of that the real gift that God gave me to prepare me for this opportunity, this honor of leading Students for Life, it really wasn't my debate skills or my willingness to have people who don't understand how babies are made yell and call me anti-science. It's not my intellect. It's not my sense of style. Just ask my staff, or my social media expertise. I have none. Even though I found out today I trend on TikTok all the time, and I had no idea. I am like the least cool viral TikTok person ever. The real gift that I was given is that I'm always moving forward. And I do so quickly. I refuse to quit when it becomes hard or emotionally painful. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, being in a constant state of forward motion, always pushing to do more, save more, change more minds, can be a blessing and a curse. A curse that I, don't stop and remember the amazing wins along the way. I don't stop and smell the roses. Like, I can't tell you, I can't remember my son's first words. My husband has to remind me. Or, a lot of times I'll forget these incredible testimonies that so many of you come up and generously share with me. But it's also a blessing in the sense that when I fall, I don't dwell on it. I begin again. I retool the approach, try to incorporate the lessons I learned in my failure to try not to do that same thing again. And I think that's one of the things that makes me special. Like how each of you had those special somethings that God gave you. I think one of mine is that I can quickly move on from a failure. And you can too. In fact, as members of the pro-life generation, you have to do this. So my fancy, eloquent wisdom for you to get out there, to remain unstoppable, is just do it and stay there when things get tough. Being unstoppable does not mean you're not going to fail. It means you won't quit. For you truly are the only person who can cancel you, yourself. As we talk and engage and launch projects, even those that fail, we continue to educate people about the truth about the violence of abortion and the dignity of every human being, that dignity that's written on our hearts. Your failed projects still sow seeds. You hold the seeds we need to abolish abortion right in your hands. So don't be afraid to throw them out. As in Jesus' parable, some of the seeds that you throw, some of those seeds are going to land in thorns, but others will fall on fertile soil, and those ones will take root. So don't stand there and waste time and look at the seeds in your hands and try to figure out which seeds are going to be the ones that land in the fertile ground. If you do that, you delay, you talk yourself out of the good ideas, evaluate, reevaluate, and reevaluate, have another conference call. The time to act will have passed. The moment will be gone. Those seeds will wither and die. Do you know seeds are alive? Fun fact. They're alive. I didn't know that. I'm not a farmer. They're alive. So today, my charge to you today is to tell you to throw out all your seeds into the ground. Don't hold any of them back in your hand, because if you do, they're going to die anyway. They're all going to die. Just throw them out there and be okay with the fact that some may die. But know that others are going to land in fertile ground, yielding a harvest that will become minds changed, lives saved, and abortion ended in our country. Don't be evaluators of a potential yield or harvest. You're being called to be the sower of the seeds that produce the yield. The cumulative impact of all of us throwing out all of the seeds into the ground, of doing the right thing, of keep getting them out there, having others come along and water those seeds, means that we will have a harvest. Now, if you know anything about me, I was joking with Steve back there, I'm a seed thrower. I just like to throw out the seeds, say the things. Like, you're a woman, you're a man. Two people can make babies. If you don't want to have babies, don't have sex. Seems simple. But others, they're like, that's crazy. I want to be a seed grower. Christina and Steve, who just spoke, they're seed waterers. They come out and say, let's grow this seed that's been planted. I'm like, throw more seeds. They're watering the seeds. And you all, though, are the harvest that is now thriving. You all are this harvest in the pro-life generation. But your harvest now, you have your own seeds to throw out. You have your own seeds to throw out and to water. Yesterday at the March for Life, I met a young woman, a proud atheist from Charlottesville, who braved a ride with a church group to get to the march, she told me. I asked her how she got there. At first I thought she was a pro-abort, so I didn't get her name because I was waiting to see if she was going to yell at me. And I figured out she wasn't a pro-abort, she was just a liberal. So I said, hey, well, hi, why are you here? She's like, I'm a liberal, I'm atheist, but I saw one of your videos, and it changed my mind. And I even came with this church group to get here. They were planting some seeds on the way back, I bet you. I was like, keep going, keep going. And then Juanita, a little 11-year-old, who's sitting actually up front. You're gonna make me cry. Olivia from Perrysburg, Ohio, who came up to me last night, who wrote a personal letter to President Biden asking him how, as a Catholic, he could be for legal abortion. Juanita, who gave me the honor of asking me to sign her petition. I was the 137th person who signed her petition with her full pack of 40 Days for Life pens. She's right here if you want to add your name to her petition. She's sending this petition letter right to the White House. Juanita, the atheist who I thought didn't like me, who liked me, they are the harvest who now have seeds in their hands, who will be throwing them out, who will be watering them, producing more of a harvest. So today, challenge yourself to be unafraid of your eventual failures. Embrace the law of probability. You will fail. But throw all the seeds out there, out of your hands. So collectively, this first post-Roe America will yield a harvest that produces an America without abortion. And speaking of being unafraid, go out there during lunch, find the Students for Life Action booth today. Sign up and join us to host a lobby day or host a political leadership workshop in your state for students and adults. We will teach you how to fail. And to do so by having fun, but to fail forward over and over again in your state, introducing a law, voting for a law, seeing that law get shot down, then going and door knocking and reminding people who voted for that person that they said they were pro-life and they were too much of a wuss, then seeing another pro-lifer elected until eventually we have majorities in every state house across the country. Be unafraid. We'll teach you how to fail and have so much fun. Because every time we do that, in every state capital, despite every setback we may have, every time we move the needle closer and closer. In Wyoming, for example, I can't go into it. Tina cut 3 minutes of my time because some other people went over this morning. Was not me. But in Wyoming, just yesterday we found out after 3 years of attempting to pass a chemical abortion ban in Wyoming, which surprisingly was one of the very few states that had no protections on the books for a post-Roe America until right before it happened. After 3 years of fighting and moving it forward, we'll see that bill passed. It's being introduced next week. Anyone who wants to go to Cheyenne next week, tell them at the Students for Life Action table. Be unafraid to throw your seeds, water them, yield the harvest. Be unafraid to fail, guys. Refuse to give up. Throw them all out there and be unstoppable. Thanks.